Welcome to the Chamber's Candidate Interview Series. I'm Christy Moore, and I serve as the president of the Dawson County Chamber of Commerce. On June 9th, the primary election will be held in Georgia, and early voting begins May 18th. In Dawson County, there are many local elections on the ballot. You may always view your sample ballot and polling location by visiting mvp.sos.ga.gov. One of the main areas of focus of our Chamber's strategic plan is advocacy. While we would typically host a forum for all the candidates, due to the current pandemic and out of an abundance of caution that prioritizes the health and safety of the candidates and our staff, we are hosting in-depth candidate interviews instead. All candidates who are running for an office for which more than one candidate is running were invited to be interviewed. As a nonpartisan organization, we take seriously our role to promote issues of benefit to our businesses and community, as well as support the promotion of information about upcoming elections. The Chamber does not endorse a particular party nor particular candidates. We have worked diligently to ensure that these candidate interviews are fair to the participants and informative to our members and audience. Candidates were not given the questions prior to being interviewed. Questions were submitted by Chamber members and were predetermined by the Chamber's Advocacy Committee. Similar to a forum, each candidate will be given 3 minutes to give an opening statement and will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Today, I'm joined by Jeff Perry, who is running to be the next Dawson County Sheriff. Jeff, would you like to kick us off with your opening statement?
Yes, thank you, Christy, and thank the Chamber for putting this together. It's really great, and really thank you and the Chamber for what you do here in Dawson County. Great organization, great leadership. Good afternoon, friends and neighbors in Dawson County. My name is Jeff Perry. I'm running for sheriff here in Dawson County as a Republican candidate. Just a little bit about my background. I'm 55 years old. I'm married to Lisa Dishroom Perry. Used to be the assistant superintendent at Dawson County Schools. We have 2 children. Actually, we have 3, but Jacob and his wife live nearby, and Jade, our youngest daughter, is residing here after completing grad school. We have a 4-year-old that we took in as a foster child at 6 months. But I'm running Dawson County Sheriff because I believe we have the most experience to put forth and put together a true leadership and management program to take Dawson County into the future. And as a chief for 18 years, running 3 offices in a 7-county area, including rural and urban area. I led from the top, and we led from the bottom up, and also we implemented many new strategies and operational strategies for public safety in those areas. And one of the main points and reason I'm running on is that I have the experience necessary to manage a budget and to save taxpayers' dollars in Dawson County. Another thing, a little bit about me, I'm the only candidate with a college degree, graduating from Georgia Southern College. Now it's Georgia Southern University. I've also enrolled in a master's program and taken graduate courses in criminal justice. And I completed the Carl Vinson Institute for public managers at the University of Georgia. So I bring all of that to you, and we want to put our experience to work for you to prepare Dawson County for the growth and also the possible different crimes and things of that as we venture into the next 4 years. That's pretty much about me, and now we'll move on to be happy to answer the next question. Thank you, the people of Dawson County.
Great, thank you, Jeff. Well, let's start off learning about why you want to be sheriff.
All right. Well, it's a great question, and it's something that I prepared myself several years ago, and that's why I got interested in criminal justice. 2 of my uncles were sheriffs in Dawson County, and also I had another one that was a chief deputy. So we come from a long line of servants, public safety servants here, and we also have come from deep roots here in Dawson County. But one of the reasons is I think that we need to have someone who can effectively manage budgets here in Dawson County. When the lawsuit occurred where the current administration sued the commissioners and in essence sued us, it really upset me. And over the last 4 years, this administration budget has increased every year, but it's still not accomplished. There's no proactive policing, and also there's no recruitment retention in place. As sheriff in Dawson County, uh, I plan to address those issues. And one of the things as to recruitment and retention is to make sure that you hire people from within. Look for your best candidate, because if you start bringing in outside help, then that's going to affect morale in a number of ways. But that's one of the reasons I ran. Also, I feel I have the tools necessary to bring us forward into the next 4 years. Now, if you look, uh, presently in Dawson County, sometimes we get the statements, well, we always done it that way. And that's one of the most dangerous um, sayings or statements that you can make in public service or even as a private corporation. You have to be adaptable, you have to make changes, and you have to change with the community. And as we see now, our community is different from what it was 10 years ago, 20, and most definitely 40 years ago. So working at the state level and affecting those, being faced with those issues, I feel I can bring that in and transition Dawson County into a great sheriff's department.
Absolutely. Well, due to the current pandemic, that's why we're on a call instead of in person, of course, but we anticipate that Dawson County may have a flat or even lower budget for the next fiscal year than the current budget. How do you plan, if elected, to use current resources to meet the needs of law enforcement?
Now, that's where I bring in experience, Christy. That's a great question. From 2008 to I retired in 2015, I was over a large area. And if you go back to 2008, that's when we had one of the worst financial crises that some, economists say it was as worse or worse than the Great Depression. So from 2008 to 2015, my budget dropped every year. There was no more money. The governor told us, hey, you got to do more with less. And that's what we did. I closed down 3 offices because we had the capabilities to work in the field at various places, at courthouses and sheriff's departments. And we were, in essence, we were able to return $1 million to the general budget. And another thing that we did, as a leader, you have to lead by example. And one of the things, I took on extra duties, my staff took on extra duties. We reduced overtime. And also we developed strategies where we involved the community. And so when we closed those offices, people said, hey, production is going to decrease. But when in fact, we saw an increase in the current situation now as teachers in Dawson County, they can tell you that they're working more now than they did when they were in the classrooms. Yes, I believe, no doubt, we're going to face a financial crisis. The governor has already told state agencies to prepare for 14% budget reduction. Our own school system here, Dr. Gale said, hey, we're preparing for 14% budget reductions, and that's what the county will be faced too. And I believe that I can bring together, one of the things is auxiliary deputy force, where we take in volunteers. And the Florida Highway Patrol is a perfect example, where if you put an auxiliary officer and a regular deputy, you can't tell them apart. And that's no cost, more boots on the ground, more eyes in the area at no cost to the taxpayers.
Well, to follow up on that question, what will your financial priorities be if elected to the sheriff's office?
All right. Well, one of the things that we will implement is a citizens advisory board made up of business leaders, made up of people in the community, people who run private businesses, people own their own business, and just citizens, and also some from different government. And we're going to go through the budget with a fine-tooth comb and eliminate our wants and only get what we need. And one of the things that I practiced while I was the chief was results-based budgeting. And results-based budgeting is simply that if you fund a unit or if you fund a program that's not getting results, well, guess what? We're not going to keep funding that program. We're going to take that money and divert it into something that we're getting success with. And that goes back to what I stated before, well, we always done it that way. If you're always doing it that way, then it's not effective. You need to make changes. And so that's one of the things we're going to do right with that. And number one, the other thing is that the volunteer program, I think, is going to be very successful. It works in other areas, like I mentioned, Florida Highway Patrol. But we're going to go back in to go through that budget with a fine-tooth comb and, again, eliminate anything that is not providing results, and it's just a waste of taxpayers' dollars just to have something. And the other thing too, we will, I can run this budget as sheriff on the current budget that we have right now. I will not ask for no more tax dollars until I can account for every single tax dollars. And this is a promise. If I cannot do that, then I will return half of my salary back to the general budget the next year. I'm confident that I can, very confident that I can run the sheriff's department on the budget, and probably can even reduce the budget.
Absolutely. Well, you kind of led into my next question, which is, are there functions that are currently performed by the sheriff's office that you believe could be accomplished in partnership with the county or city, or even outsourced, in order to prevent duplication of services?
Again, that's a great question. That's what I had. That's what I worked with when I was chief during the financial crisis between 2008. Yes, most definitely. We have to cut out duplication of services. One of the things that here in Dawson County is that we have a warrant service and civil papers. But they take these warrants and the civil papers and they go out, their unit does. When in fact, we have deputies out patrolling every day that goes by these same places. So why not have the deputies in their zones take the papers, serve those papers, and drop off any civil papers and warrants that they can out there? That would eliminate another service. I think another thing is where in our programs at the detention center, we can utilize a lot of those inmate laborers in conjunction with the county, and also other places where we can put those individuals out there to do work at no cost to the county and the ground. Public works crew is a great example. Speaking with people in the county public works, they would love to have some inmates come out to assist them, but they haven't been able to. It's a win-win situation. It gets the inmates out, they can learn a trade. I'd like to take it a further step than that, is to let them learn a trade. And this is only low-risk offenders working with individuals in community, especially these inmates who have restitution due. Well, when they get out, they have bills and they have to support their family, and the restitution is the last thing on their mind. So what I would do, we would collect the payment from what they earn doing this outside work, and in doing that, that money would be paid to the victims before they ever get out of jail. And so you don't have to worry about when they get out that, hey, where's that money coming from? But there's a number of things that we can eliminate by eliminating duplication of services.
Thank you. Well, as you know, being a resident here in Dawson County has become a retail hub for our region, with thousands of non-residents passing through and shopping in our county every single day. What steps do you intend to take in order to protect existing and developing businesses here in Dawson County if elected sheriff?
Well, I think it's being visible, it's being proactive. And it's also called problem-oriented policing. That's what I would implement. And one example of problem-oriented policing, while you're in that zone, you stop and talk with business owners. Ask them how we're doing. What can we do to make this business safer? Have you had any problems? In that way, that puts a name and face together with the deputy patrolling that area and also with the business owner. And we can even do residentials when you're going through residential neighborhoods, to stop and see what we're doing and how can we improve our services better. The other thing is most of the crime, if we go back, I believe in data-driven policing. And again, it goes back to doing things we always have done, putting people in zones where there's less crime, when you need to look at your data and see where most crimes are happening. And I guarantee it's along the 400 corridor. So we need to move our resources where the crime is happening, not eliminating coverage or patrol in those areas, but beefing up and the patrol and enforcement in an area where we have the higher crime rate. Another thing too I like to see is we have the law enforcement and the fire station down at 400. It's never been staffed, and that's going to be a great benefit. If we can staff that, instead of people coming all the way into Dawson County, the people at those businesses that at the 400 corridor and live down on that end of the county don't have to come all the way into the sheriff's department to file a report or request services. And I would like to see our officers in more visible in the outlet place. And one of the things is having a bike patrol, especially during the summer. Officers will be on bikes patrolling that area, being visible. And one of the easiest ways to stop crime is officer presence.
Absolutely. And we'll get a little more in depth in a minute on that. Um, but tell us what you view are the strengths of the Dawson County Sheriff's Office currently, and what areas you think need improvement. And if elected, how do you plan to address the areas that need improving?
Okay. I think, getting back, a lot of times when you have an election like this, sheriff's election, a lot of people who seen their voice don't get heard, and that's the employees of the Dawson County Sheriff's Department. And that's the strength of our county. There's a lot of great people. There were a lot of people that worked there before that left that had a lot of experience. I think we have to center around and focus on that strength to find out, especially when we recruit and retain, that we're recruiting the best people, because I'm a firm believer that you hire your problems, and that have a vetted hiring process where we make sure that we get the best people here in Dawson County. And then once we get them, we have to find a way to keep them. One of the best ways is starting a leadership program, identifying those young deputies who have been here for a while, or new deputies who have great leadership experience, and start grooming them for a leadership position in the event someone leaves. Because now the way it is, if someone leaves, they go, hey, you're the new sergeant, with no preparation, no leadership leading up that position. And that's one of the things that we will implement here. I think another way where one of the biggest improvements that we can make is proactive policing and community-oriented policing. That means our officers not just sitting at a church or sitting in some area. What they need to be out patrolling. When they're patrolling, they need to be out communicating with the people in the community, the citizens. It's okay to stop, if you're out on patrol, and talk to someone out mowing the lawn or someone walking the dog, and introduce yourself. And what it does, if there is something in the area, if they know you, they're going to be able to contact you and let you know, hey, I'm so and so. You stopped by and you met with me. I appreciate that. This is what's going on in our neighborhood.
Absolutely. Well, if elected, how do you envision the sheriff's office partnering with our largest employer, the school system, to help ensure the safety of Dawson County students and staff?
Okay. Well, again, the strength of the program right now is the SRO programs. And it's been partnered with the Sheriff's Department where we have SROs each school. But one of the things that I have a problem with is that, and it takes away from the actual job, is that we have individuals sign out from a job now and come up here and are paid to direct traffic in the mornings. They go back and do their job, and then they sign out and they come back and they're directing traffic, getting paid by the school system. One of the things that we will do, and I will do as sheriff, we will eliminate that cost to the school, that the schools pays for them officers who come up here and direct traffic, because you're having two problems right there. You're pulling someone off of assignment that they're doing, and then they're coming up here and they're getting paid by a school system, which is something that we should be doing anyway. And we will do that even if I had to come out as sheriff and direct traffic. I think the other thing is working with developing and working with the safety director here in Dawson County. I think we can improve on that relationship. And one of the things we need to do is, a lot of times you perform the way you practice. And when we have active shootings, a lot of times the active shootings is done during the summer and only once a year when there's no one else here. We need to involve as many people, the teachers and everything, as possible, so that when we do have that, or if we do have that, everyone will know what to do. And you have to perform the active shooter role more than once a year. It needs to be done. You need to have a set down, and also the public safety director here or at the Dawson County School System, Tony Wooten, invite him into departmental meetings at the Sheriff's Department and say, hey, this is the intel we got. We want to make you aware of it in order to protect and provide public safety for the students here in Dawson County.
Thank you. Well, you mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but how do you plan to maintain visibility and accessibility of the sheriff's office and deputies in the community?
Okay, but again, it starts with the sheriff. We evolved. The sheriff's role has evolved from what it used to be 20 or 30 years ago. No, really, not so much as a law enforcement officer, but more as a CEO. You could take someone who ran, a Ford Motor Company and bring them in. They would be a great candidate because number one, they deal with people. They're also advertising their product. And what's our product? It's the Dawson County Sheriff's Department and how we can better serve the people here in Dawson County. And so, as that role, what I plan to do is have what I call a Citizens Day once a month where I will be in my office from 6 a.m. to whenever it takes. If it's 10 o'clock, I will see every citizen that wants to come in without an appointment during that day. Another thing, we will be going once a quarter, we'll be going into communities and we will be talking with community, have community forums. Let's say we go into over around Chestatee, we invite the residents there. We're not only going to tell them, what's going on, but we're also going to provide them with, hey, we may have some burglaries in this area. We want you to be aware of these, and also work with them to enhance a community safety watch program and to work with them and even, provide resources for that the best we can. And I think that's the best way is the sheriff being visible, the officers being visible. It's called community oriented policing. And, it works because you work hand in hand. It's not so much about what we can do for the community, but how we can work together as a community to stop crime. Because it's not just a police problem, it's not a fire problem, it's a people problem. It's all of our problem. Everybody that lives here in Dawson County.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked a good bit about the budget, but working within the parameters of the current sheriff's office budget, or again, it might even be reduced, what would your plan and strategy be to recruit and retain quality officers and staff?
Okay, well, when I was a chief working, I worked with the University of North Georgia in their recruitment, and also we would take in interns from that department, and it was a double whammy. I mean, because a double win-win situation. We got to bring them in to see what kind of person they would be and whether we wanted to hire them, and we also got to showcase, hey, this is what we do, and so it's a win-win situation. I will continue that here. I said we need to. Um, Let me back up just a little bit. I'm now a teacher, and I teach criminal justice here at the high school. And I started and developed a criminal justice program. This is one of the best ways is by being involved with a program like the criminal justice safety program here in Dawson County High School and getting the individuals that's used interested in this. And I'll be honest, we had to reach out to the sheriff's department, the fire department. They were great, and I would like to see, even if we don't get elected, I would like to see that process develop more, where the sheriff's department is working with the program here at the school, because you get people interested at it at young. That's why I went into it. I become interested at a young age. I said, hey, when I grow up, I want to be, in law enforcement. And it's because I learned that at a younger age. But getting back, working with the school system, working with the students, and also working with the colleges in the area to identify promising students. And another thing, if you can recruit those people from North Georgia now, they come out with a criminal justice degree and a peace officer certification. So that eliminates the county, sending out person to mandate, because it's already paid for. And I think we have to tap into that resource.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked a lot about the external partnerships and working with the community, but let's turn inwards a little bit for a moment and talk about how you will maintain accountability and integrity within the department.
Well, again, it starts with the sheriff and with the integrity and the care. I mean, people are going to do what they see someone else do, and it can be good, it can be bad. The people, when they say leaders, a lot of people think it talks about good leaders, but there are also bad leaders. And if you have bad leaders, employees are going to develop those habits or feel like, hey, no one's worried about me, not doing this right here, so I can do anything I want to. One thing is accountability is that the sheriff is out, other than just being in the sheriff's department. He's out with his personnel. When we used to go on arrests, I was part of the arrest team, just like anyone else. And so I was out and I was able to, look and see, hey, are we doing this the way we should be? Are we doing this with integrity? And we're not out, yelling and screaming and tearing places up when we go in a search warrant. We go in, if we mess something up, we're going to put it back, or we're going to be responsible for paying for that. And the only way you're going to know those things is if you're out with your people. And that's going to be one of the first things. I think, you lead by example. And, my style of leadership is a servant leadership, but it's not just dedicated to one thing. You have to serve the people that are under you, but you also have to serve the people in the community. And when they come to you with a problem about what they're seeing, you have to listen. You can't just, say, hey, I know my people, they wouldn't do that. You have to vet it and you have to investigate it, and you have to be thorough in doing so. And you have to take proper action when that employee or when someone in that department does something that is not right.
Well, you have once again led perfectly into my next question, which is, in the age of social media, when videos can go viral in an instant, what would you do to both protect your officers and protect citizens? For example, would you provide body cameras?
All right. Look, I'm a big fan of body cameras, and we were experiencing with those. Had some when I was transitioning through my retirement. We were going that way, and this is the reason, right? Hey, why don't we have them, and that way we can, if something happens, we can go back and review it. Say, all right, you're off the hook. You did everything. So it not only protects the citizens, but it protects the officers in the department. And if people complain about cameras and so forth, look, everybody that's got a cell phone has got a camera. And that's what I used to tell my people. You have to assume when you're out there that everyone has a camera, and that if you do something, it's going to make the 6 o'clock news. So, you need to do it the right way. You need to do it by policy. You need to do it with integrity and character. And so, yes, I would bring that in. But I think also have a social media policy at the sheriff's department. We have one where I worked at, that prohibited someone posting things that were inappropriate. And look, we're all human. We're going to do things. We're going to get social media. But the thing about it is that once you post that, it's not only a reflection on you, it's a reflection on everyone in that department. If you post something, let's say you have a child, they post something, it's not just reflection on that child, but it's a reflection on the family. Whether you agree with me or not, but that's the underlying thing, because we're all human. And so that's one of the first things we would implement, body cameras. And it's nothing different. It was the same thing we transitioned to in the 80s when we started putting cameras in patrol cars. We were able to adapt and overcome that. We will with body cameras.
Absolutely. Well, we know that Dawson County businesses pay or generate the majority of the county budget that funds the sheriff's office. So given that fact, why should a business owner vote for you to be our next sheriff?
Okay, well, because we're going to protect your business, and we're going to be out there. We're going to come out and we're going to ask you, how can we do our job better? We're going to be working with each and every business owner. Like I said, when we go out in the community for our quarterly forums, it's not just going to be about residential place and people in those residences, but it's also going to be about the business. If we want to hear from you, how can we better serve you and protect you? And again, it's going back with problem-oriented policing. And just to touch a little bit on that, problem-oriented and community-oriented go hand in hand, but they're different. And this is an example of problem-oriented policing. All right, let's say, and this happened. We had a case where I used to work at, where this guy, he had 97 public drunks. He'd get drunk, he'd go into town. You could wrap your Christmas list with his rap sheet. But he'd go out, he'd get drunk We'd arrest him, he'd get out. What was the problem? The problem was not him being out drunk or being out in public drunk. It was a drinking problem. So the next time we started arresting him, we took him to detox. And from there, we took him to a AOD, alcohol and drugs problem. So we were addressing the problem. That's what problem-oriented policing is. If you have a problem at your business, you let us know. We're going to solve that problem the best way we can in order that protects you, protects the citizens of Dawson County, and also protects the employees of Dawson County Sheriff's Department. The other thing is a citizen advisory board. We're going to have business owners on there. We're going to ask you again in there when we have our meetings. You're going to be part of that through the Sevilla Citizens Advisory Board, and we're going to solicit your input. And when you provide your input, we're going to listen to your input, and we're going to put a plan of action based on your input to better serve the people of Dawson County.
Absolutely. Well, as we come to a close, if there's anything you'd like to share that maybe we didn't cover during our time together, please go ahead and share with us your closing statement.
Okay. Again, I'd like to thank the people of Dawson County for allowing me to come into your home, to your computer screen. I'd thank the Dawson County Chamber of Commerce and Christy for all the things you're doing and for having this forum. Like I said before, when we come down to this election, we know we're going to be facing a financial crisis, right? Do we want someone in there who has faced that and had success with it? Or do we want someone in there who has never faced that, never has experience with that? I think as a citizen in Dawson County, we cannot afford to let that happen. And that's why I'm running, to bring my experience. I want to put my experience to work for you. I think we have a wonderful community. I've been a part of this community all of my life. My family has. And we devoted our time to community projects such as I've been a park and rec coach. I've been in Civitan. I've been in Rotary. I've been a Boy Scout leader. I'm vested in this community just like you. And another thing, I'm concerned about our tax dollars just like you are. And so I will promise you this right here. We will work hard every day for you. We will not ask another dime from you until we have accounted for every dime in our budget. And then again, those things that we don't need, we're going to eliminate them. We're going to be just like you and I in our homes. When it comes budget crunch time, we fulfill our needs and not our wants. And so the next 4 years are going to be critical here in Dawson County. We don't need the excuse, hey, I can't do this because I don't have enough money. I'm telling you, and I'm asking you for your vote for sheriff. And I'm telling you my response that I know I can come in here and face any type of financial crisis with no reduction in public safety for the community. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for your prayers. And if you're undecided, please consider us as you go in to make that vote, because again, the next 4 years is critical. We want to go through another 4 years where a financial lawsuit because, hey, we don't have enough money. And it's going to come up because we will be faced with budget deficits over the next 4 years. Again, I ask for your vote, ask for your prayers, and I thank you for allowing me to come into your home. If you need to contact me, my cell phone number is 706-265-0274. That's my personal cell phone number, and I will have that number if elected sheriff. You may call me 24/7. Again, visit us on Jeff Perry for Sheriff on Facebook. And if you have any questions, if I haven't got out to see you, I apologize, but we will still make an effort to come out to the community. We have what we call the Perry Express, where we go out into communities. This past weekend, we were down at 400, so we're going to set up a location. Come by and see us, get a cup of water, a snack, and we'll sit down and talk about the problems here in Dawson County. Thank you, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate everyone watching this.